Okay, so I want to get at a little vocabulary. The vocabulary I want to get at is sometimes the directions in math books say to solve something, and sometimes they say to evaluate something. Right? Yeah. So what I want to know is those two words seem like they should have really specific meanings. I want to know if you guys have caught that or not, because sometimes I feel like we gloss this a little bit. So if I say for you to solve something, what am I asking? Like, can you give me an example of something that I'm asking you to solve?
Solve for x.
Yeah, that's good. Really, this should be like solving should be like solve for a variable, right?
Yeah.
So what's your like go-to easiest example for solving? You guys got one in your head?
Not really. I mean, 1 plus x equals 4. What's x?
Sure, perfect.
Yeah.
You guys with me on this? Like 1 plus x equals 4 is a perfect example of solve. How you solve, I don't care right now. I just want to highlight that's what solving is. Right? What is evaluating?
Value for the given statement. So I don't know. I would feel like 1 plus 4 would like evaluate 1 plus 4.
Good, perfect.
So when you solve for something, you end up evaluating because you'd have to like do like subtraction or something.
Yeah, so you'll have to perform some operations in the process of solving, right?
Exactly. But operation.
So the difference here, though, right? It's like evaluate is just like do this operation, right?
Find the value.
And solve is it's not about doing this operation. It's about undo this operation. You guys see that?
Yeah.
So an example for evaluate, maybe the one I'm thinking of here, is like do f to 4, where f is one plus x. You guys see that? So
Yeah.
do f to 4 is take 1 and add 4. You with me on that? Okay. What's this phrased in terms of f? What's 1 plus x equals 4 phrased in terms of f?
X.
So the answer is x is 3, right?
Right.
But how do you phrase this with f sitting?
So f of x equals f of 4. 1 minus 4.
How about
minus 1, 4 minus 4.
if f of x is 1 plus x,
Yeah.
is there a 1 plus x up here?
Yeah.
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 Well, wait, what was 1 plus x?
F of x is 4.
That was f of x,
F
right?
Of x.
You guys see this thing is f of x equals 4.
Oh, I
So
see.
you just add.
So you're just substituting, basically.
Yeah, all I'm doing is trying to get you to think of, okay, if 1 plus x equals 4 is my go-to example for solving, right? That's a thing about when is f of x 4. What's this a question about? Is that a question about an input or an output?
When is f of x 4? Is it what do you have to put in order to get the output?
Yeah, you guys see that? This is, this guy here is get an input,
That gives
right?
you 4.
That's that solve for a variable, right? You're going to look for an input. And the way you're going to look for an input is you're going to undo your function. See that? You're not going to add 1 to find out what the answer is. You're going to instead
Subtract 1.
subtract 1. You guys see that?
Yeah.
So solving isn't about doing operations. It's about reversing operations. You guys with me on that?
Yeah.
Because it's a question about getting an input given an output.
Right.
Which is a thing about reverse f. That's cool with that?
Yeah.
So solve should be reversing your function or getting an input given an output. Evaluate, on the other hand, is about,
Doing the operation.
Doing the operation.
yeah, you just do the function, right? Like you do the operation you were asked for. So this is about get a,
Oh, get an output.
yeah, this is just get an output given an input. Right, which is a question of do F. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
So what I want in your head is solve goes with getting an input given an output, which is reversing a function. Right? You're going to undo operations to solve, right? And to evaluate, you're going to just do this stuff you were told to do. Now, which of these is hard and which one is easy?
Evaluating is pretty easy, and solving you have to figure out what
Yeah,
you do.
evaluate's usually pretty straightforward, right? We teach you how to evaluate things the first time we teach you order of operations.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like once you've got all of order of operations and you know what all the symbols mean, like end of trig class, man, you're basically done learning how to evaluate functions. But like solving?
But isn't that just doing the order of operations backwards? So
Yeah, most of the time,
most
right?
of the time. I see.
Like if f is invertible,
Then
right? Like if you can find operations to exactly back out, that's just doing operations.
Right.
It's not hard.
it's just an operation.
But like once you get to, oh, if things don't have an inverse function, then I have to do stuff like invent the quadratic formula or invent the cubic formula
Interesting.
or use calculus to find an approximate value because some things don't have nice formulas, right? Like these questions are hard. These questions are usually pretty easy. Guys good with that?
Yeah.
That helped clarify some stuff
Yeah.
a long time ago, maybe?
Good, yeah.
Because we use these words all the time, and nobody ever tells you that this one's about going backwards, and this one's about going forwards.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool, cool?
Yeah.
So if I had to draw my function diagram, right? If this is f, which way is evaluate? Is that from left to right or
Left
from
to
right to
right.
left?
Left to right.
Yeah, evaluate is that way. Right, that goes from left to right, because you just take an input and you frickin' plug it into the function. Right, easy peasy.
Reversing is solving.
And then solving is this way, which I usually draw with a dotted arrow, because,
You have to undo
yeah, you have to undo f, which takes some creativity sometimes.
minus one.
And also doesn't necessarily, what?
Word.
Yeah, sometimes it's intractable, right? Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes there's not a solution, or there's multiple solutions, or like there's some weird things, right? Like if there's an inverse, this is easy, right? You want to kind of think f inverse, but how many functions are invertible?
Like 4.
Four. Oh, and keep in mind that your trig inverse functions, like arc sine and arc cosine and all those guys,
Yeah.
those aren't actually inverse functions, right? They're partial inverses.
Okay.
So they don't actually work all the time. You have to do this like, well, unless I add even pi over 2's or odd pi over 2's or weirdness like that. We're not there yet. We'll get there again. But just remember, those are a little weird. Cool?
Yeah.
All right.